Hey guys, how you doing? Danny here. Well, I'm back out doing it again. I'm back doing some research, and I'm at this one area. It's been bugging me about this spot. I don't know. I've been up at night sometimes thinking about it. Something about this area. One I'm on right now, there's a trail comes down through here, and it's going right down through here, right down here. From the indication of the trail, something awfully big and heavy comes through here, and the two biggest entities I know out here that can make a trail with such depth into it is Sasquatch, bear. This trail here, because of the way it's going, I've seen a lot of these. This is, no doubt about it, this is from these hominins. They created this trail. You see, because when you go up here and pop up out of here, there's a water source right over there, not far from here at all. And as you could tell, you got such a big clearing in here, because these guys are large. And they come in through here like this, and they leave no evidence, because it's such a clearing. And not only that, they could totally evade anything and anybody, period. I could come up on the ridge. In fact, right I'm here, I could sit right here. I'm below this ridge, which is just above me. Anything's up there, I could see them, but they can't see me. So, and remember I told you, these hominins, they're experts in evasion. Now, let's get down to it. I'm not really here right now to really get into what I'm doing right here, okay? Instead, there's something else I'm going to tell you. And this, like the previous video I did, this is one of them stories that are untold. And I have documented this story quite a few years ago. In fact, I believe it was in 2018. I know it was the year before G passed away. So yeah, it was in 2018. Okay. At that time, we were doing research over there in an area. It was called Mosquito Ridge. And Mosquito Ridge is an area that is on the other side of the Sierra Mountains. It's on the eastern part of the Sierra Mountains. Like if you're going towards the Tahoe Basin, it's in that area. Now, on that side of Mosquito Ridge, there's a river that flows through there, and it's called the Middle Fork. Up in the Cascades in that area, we got three rivers up there. You got the North Fork, the Middle Fork, and the South Fork, which are the American River. Okay? Now, the Middle Fork goes down in a certain area down the canyon. And we had befriended a fella that owned a mine claim in that area. And he had a friend that also owned a mine claim in that area. And we set up an appointment with him to have an interview. There was something they wanted to talk to us about. So we got there, we met him, we sat down, and right off the Middle Fork River, and we had our interview. Now, the story I'm going to tell you, they sparked that into me. And when we got into the conversation, they went on to tell me, first and foremost, the area we were at, that it was an area where when the sun drops at night, you don't want to be there. these hominids come out of the mountains at nighttime, and they come down to the river to feed and drink. And I'm telling you, nobody but nobody camps out this spot. Whoever does, they get chased out in a heartbeat. And it's not an easy place to get into, and not an easy place to get out in the middle of the night, just to say the least. So, but that had that to do with the story. He was letting me know what was going on. Now, I knew they existed in the area because me and Garland had already documented them in that area. But here's the story, the untold story that nobody knows about. And like I said, you can't take these stories, you can't bury them, because then they're forgotten about. So, here's what went down. In the year of the winter of 1964 and 1965, we had a big flood. And on that, especially on that side of the Sierras, because it's part of some of the highest cascades of the Sierra Mountains. That particular year, we also had a historical snowfall, historical rainfall. So when spring came, you add them all two together, you're going to have problems. That's what created the big flood. But it's just not the flood. We're not talking about just the historical factors of this flood. There's something in there that is the untold story. You see, there's a place on that side of the Sierra Mountains, a place called Hellhole. Now, Hellhole sits way down deep in a pocket of a canyon. Extremely hard to get to, extremely hard to get out. And the reason why they call it Hellhole, because it's infested with rattlesnake. Some call it the Devil's Den. Some call it the Devil's Pit. And trust you me, I have fished that. It's a natural glacier down in there, prehistoric. You can only fish it in boat. You can't fish off the bank. It's that infested with rattlers. Now, in that whole area, about a 5 to 10 mile radius of territory was the territory of probably one of the largest hominin groups that could have ever been recorded, if someone recorded it. At that time period, you have nobody doing research like I'm doing right now. That's why it was never recorded, never documented, and forgotten. Now, what they say, and by the way, they know they were there because there was quite a few eyewitness accounts that had always seen them there. Now, when the big flood happened, what they say is because when the flood happened, it all came downhill all the way down to the valley of Sacramento. It flooded everything in its path. It tore everything in its path. It caused hell and havoc all the way down to the valley. They say that the big flood was so intense that it wiped out and killed that whole large group of hominins. Now, time goes by. So now you go up to the date where me and G was there, 2018. I myself and G, we have many a times have documented these hominins in that area. They do exist in that area, period. Some of those might have came from that group. They have been respotted again. So and hence, some survived the big flood, and they're still there today. That is the story that has never been told before. Okay? That is another untold story, and I'm glad I got to bring it out into the open, let you guys know about it. Now, if in fact, if I have documented these at that time period and even earlier, for 3 straight years, I was on a high progressive research that I was doing. It was so progressive. I was gaining and documenting things like left and right. I was gaining evidence like you couldn't believe. And At that time, I felt like a little kid in a candy store. For a researcher, I was going nuts on this. So the fact that I documented them, and I have seen them now, I've had interactions with them, so did G. So for those to say or debate that they did not exist in that time, you wouldn't know, but I do. Yes, they do, and they did exist. And I'll tell you something else before I let you go. In that same area, I also found a prehistoric solution cave. And I looked in that area for years. Never found such a thing, but I found that one. I went inside quite a few times. And the last time I was in there, now this area is not far from where that large group of hominins got wiped out by the big flood. But they're still there. I knew for a fact that there was hominins living in that solution cave. I went in deep that day, over 300 feet into the inside that cave, which is way over a football field length. And there was a lot more to go into. When I got in that far, something was in there with us. And I ain't talking no bear, I ain't talking no human, no mountain lion, no nothing else. It was Sasquatch. And that day, I could hear him breathing. I could feel him breathing, because it goes right through your body. And I told the cameraman, back off, and we very methodically and slowly backed out of the situation and got the hell out of there. Now, strange thing, 2 weeks later, I went back to it. The whole mine was caved in. Or not the mine, excuse me, the solution cave. It had an inlet. It had an inlet that was exposed. It was only about like this. And you couldn't go in head first, you had to go feet first, because when he went inside, it was like a 35-degree angle. Once you got down in there, opened up to a great big cavern. And anyway, it collapsed. That last time I was in there, I told my cameraman, I says, you know, I keep getting this sensation, bad, that what if this thing collapsed, that inlet? And I told him, we're screwed. And there only been one section of inside the cave, because it split, almost kind of like lava tubes. They were like tubes, and it split. One went to the left, one went to the right, and one was straight we were at. And lucky we got the hell out of there in peace. But I'll tell you what, when I saw it cave down, I went back 2 weeks later. Whoa, I thought about it. Man, we were in there. That could have happened when we were in there. I only say that, guys, to let you know how dangerous this kind of work can be. So you got to be real careful in what you do, what I do. And so far, I've been on record. I've been doing this for almost 20 straight years now, and I have never had any injuries, no harm, and people I've taken out with me, the same thing. So anyway, I hope you liked that story I told you, because it is true. Oh, by the way, I do one day would like to go back to that one area on Mosquito Ridge and fulfill what me and G wanted to do, because we were going to do it before he passed away. So we never got it, and we never got to do it. It's we wanted to do a night one there and record everything that would happen that night. I still may. Anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. I hope you liked this video. And before I go, I'm gonna do a little scan for you guys down here. This thing really drops, but this trail goes all the way down here. In fact, you can see where I'm even on my map. It goes right down through here. I'll tell you something else too. I like doing things like this. You know why? Because these hominins are such a curiosity type creature. If they're out here, they're behind me. I'm telling you that right now. Look behind me. Just keep looking behind me. Just search all around here. Just keep looking. Because if they're here, they're out there right now. And they're watching and they're listening. And you know what? It's starting to get a little quiet right now too. And now that's strange. Why the hell would you hear crickets in the daytime? That's odd. Really odd. Anyway, I'm going to give you guys a scan.